Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you guys doing? Well, I hope. I hope we're going to get started in like a minute or two. We're going to get started in like a minute or two. Hopefully, some of my folks are able to come. Because I know one person is live right now, but I don't think nobody else is live. So it is what it is. Either way, we're going to get started soon. Hold on. Me turn on all messages and then it cuts it back to top messages. Goes back and forth. It's annoying. Good afternoon, Cloud Dweller. How are you? Well, I hope. Hope everyone's having a good day. It's Friday. It's Friday. Thank God. Did y'all thank God when you woke up this morning? Or whenever you woke up? Because you know he didn't have to wake you up. You know that, right? Yeah, you know that. I'll put this little background music on before we start. So just bear with me. That's all. Let me see. Let me see what this one sound like. I done found a few different message. Found a few different channels. Create your own sunshine. Just good background music. To your daily tan with Jergens Natural Glow. I wanna rock with this one. Mm, we can rock out. Yeah, we can rock out. And this channel, this one I'm not even subscribed to. I just found this by happenstance just now. This one is called Power and Peace Lo-Fi. And it says winter work lo-fi, soulful R&B, and chill beats for study and work. But we're not studying and we're not working right now, but we are just vibing. So that's okay. Turn it up a little bit. Not too much. There we go. That should be fine. That should be fine. But yeah, I hope everyone's having a great day. My day's going okay. I don't have any legit complaints. Same like this morning. Gotta take our wins when we can, guys. Other than this weather, and me rather be chilling in my home, it is what it is. So let's get started. The topic is product of your environment. What does that mean? To be a product of your environment. I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, has heard that before. But either way, we'll talk about it. So it says, product of your environment means your beliefs, behaviors, habits, and mindset are heavily shaped by your surroundings, including the people you associate with, your upbringing, and your life circumstances. It suggests that your environment either supports or hinders your growth, influencing your potential to. It suggests that your environment either supports or hinders your growth, influencing your potential to succeed. Which I agree, it can be a good or a bad thing, depending. Certain traits are definitely not a bad thing to have. So it says key implications and interpretations of product of your environment. So first one, influence versus destiny. Versus destiny. Influence versus destiny. While your surroundings, let me turn this down some. My bad, y'all. Okay. While your surroundings significantly impact your development, it does not mean you have no free will. We talked about free will before. It's a hell of a thing. Rather, it implies that overcoming your circumstances may require conscious effort and change. Okay? Influence versus destiny. While your surroundings significantly impact your development, it does not mean you have no free will. Rather, it implies that overcoming your circumstances may require conscious effort and change. Yep, it's true. Some people just get dealt, a bad hand with certain things, but that doesn't mean that that's the end all be all. Some people know how to play the hand and they've been dealt very well. Because either way, the show must go on. So that's the first one. And we're going over key implications and interpretations of product of your environment. The second one says social and physical impact. This includes the quote unquote peer effect, where you where you adopt the mindsets of those you spend the most time with. Social and physical impact. This includes the peer effect, where you adopt the mindsets of those you spend the most time with. And that's if you're an easily swayed person. Like if you're a solid individual, um, you're not likely to just absorb other people's mindsets just because you spend time with them. Now, there's nothing wrong with not putting yourself in a box, you know what I mean? And being open to other perspectives and things that you might not have thought about. But to just take them on fully just because, someone or people that you spend your time around have them, it's different. But it is a thing. Some people are easily swayed. whether that's a conscious or a self-conscious thing on their part. Some people do it and don't even notice that they're that way until it's like brought to their attention. Let's see. I found all messages. Okay. At least I think it's on all messages. YouTube is annoying. Okie dokie. Let's continue. So, the third one, and we're going over the key implications and interpretations of product being a product of your environment. The third one is proactive control. You can become a producer rather than just a product. Ooh. You can become a producer rather than just a product by intentionally changing your environment, such as surrounding yourself with positive, driven people. I like the way they worded that. You can become a producer rather than just a product by intentionally changing your environment, such as surrounding yourself with positive, driven people. And that is called proactive control. I like that way they worded that. Because, what do I be saying? I know I've said before, like, you have to be an active participant in your life, or else you're just going to be a bystander. Because, like I always say, the show must go on. Nobody should want to just be standing idly by. I'm in here. Sorry. Um, so I like the way they put that. Yes, proactive control. You can become a producer rather than just a product by intentionally changing your environment, such as surrounding yourself with positive, driven people. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You gotta do what makes sense for you and your growth and your goals, whatever they may or may not be. Same with if you're a person that wants to stop drinking, you're not going to be hanging around with people that drink, right? So they would either need to respect your boundaries and not drink around you, or you may need to just switch it up, you know? It's not personal, it's business. All right. The fourth one, like I said, we're going over the key implications and interpretations of what it means to be a product of your environment. The last one, what the hell? Oh, I don't really care for this last instrumental. Contextual behavior. It highlights that actions, both good and bad, often make sense within the context of the environment where where they were developed. Hmm. Contextual behavior. It highlights that actions, both good and bad, often make sense within the context of the environment where they were developed. Okay. So obviously it's some type of learned behavior. And they're saying in the moment, in the environment that these type of behaviors were learned, obviously it made sense. It was needed. But when you carry those behaviors over in situations where it's not needed or warranted, That's not a good thing, you know? And I think most, if not all of us, have certain learned behaviors or certain traits, characteristics that we developed over time, which, like I said, could be a good or a bad thing, depending. I put on my wall not too long ago about Cardi B. She is just such a prime example of someone who is a product of their environment and just refuses to grow. I feel like it's even more unfortunate when it's someone that has all the necessary tools and availability to grow, you know, and be the best woman that she could be, the best mother she could be, first and foremost, before even thinking about wanting to be somebody's partner. But she still behaves like a stripper in New York, having to get it out the mud. You're not there no more, girl. You know, she doesn't grasp. There are certain ways, we have to conduct ourselves when we step out into society and just in general. And it doesn't make you fake, you know, because it shouldn't be a front. It should just be really something that you learn as you grow, as a grown woman or a grown man, especially when you decide you want to procreate, because now you have other people you're responsible for. That's just one case, but it's just so many instances with her, and it's just like, come on, girl, come on. Evelyn's daughter might be a product of Evelyn Lozada's daughter might be a product of her environment. She looked at her mom and how her mom got down, and she seemed to be doing the same thing, going the same way. And for some reason, Evelyn didn't or couldn't, but her daughter did, to how the real world works. And it's always unfortunate to see people have to learn certain lessons the hard way if it's not necessary. You know? We all fall short. I always say that. We all fall short wherever we fall short at. But the question is, once you're able to identify where you fall short at, do you even want to do anything about it? And then the next question is, are you doing something about it? You know? I used to cuss a lot. I still cuss, but I used to cuss a lot. Like a lot, a lot. Then I made a conscious effort to take certain steps and do certain things to be a better me. And part of that, I didn't want to cuss as much. I even did like a little challenge on here, which I failed. But I didn't do as bad as I thought I was going to do. And I finished it out. People do the things they want to do. And we make the effort for the things we want to. You know what I mean? So there's always room to grow. There's always room to learn something new. You just have to be willing to do the work That's all. All right, so we went over some of the key implications and interpretations for what it means to be a product of your environment. Then they gave us some common examples. The first one says mindset. Surrounding yourself with ambitious people boosts your own drive. Always forget. I wish my sis F and M was here. I always forget how it goes. If it's sharpened, if it's a steel, I think it's either steel sharpens steel or iron sharpens iron. I want to say it's iron sharpens iron. You know what that means is you surround yourself with people that's gonna keep you on your game, keep you on point, and vice versa. Y'all help each other grow and be good, the best you can be. Um, Choices. The second one is choices, going over common examples of what it means to be a product of your environment. Growing up in a challenging environment can influence your decision making. It can. And for some people, let me turn this down. For some people, that just puts an extra fire underneath of them to go ham. So that way they can get themselves in a situation to where they don't ever have to be in certain situations again as a grown individual that they were, that they experienced as a child or a teenager. And then that also motivates them to, to be on point. So if they have children, their children don't have to go through certain hardships that they may have had to. And then the opposite of that is for some people it just deflates them, leaves them defeated. They throw their hands in the air and they're just like, F it. This is the cards I've been dealt. I got the short end of the stick. It is what it is, you know, which it doesn't have to be. Definitely doesn't have to be. Not everyone wins the birth lottery, is what I call it, birth lottery. Because we don't get to choose where we're born, who we're born to, what family we're born into, whoop-de-doo, the environment, none of that stuff. We're just born and then raised up. Nobody gets to decide that for themselves. But there's plenty of people that have come from nothing or little to nothing, that went through things, come from terrible experiences, and they got it out the mud and did what they needed to do and made whatever sacrifices they needed to make in the moment. And I understand that we're all built differently and wired differently, but certain things are not impossible to attain. Just have to do the work. You never want to use where you came from or what you went through as an excuse to not try to be the best you that you can be. And obviously, what's your best and what someone else's best are not the same. So there's no point even trying to compare or contrast with that. You just try to be the best you and whatever that entails, especially before you be on some woe is me type of mess. The third common example that they gave us is habits. Habits. A supportive environment, such as one with healthy food options, fosters better personal health. These are just examples. So, yeah. So, for example, if you're someone who would like to or needs to lose weight, you're not going to frequent the same places that you went to before you made the conscious decision to try to drop some weight, whether it's by choice or for health reasons, you're not really going to go to the same spots. You're probably going to cook more, you know, or try to learn to cook if you don't cook, you know. And if you have a supportive friend group or family, whoever, they're not going to invite you to certain places that you might have went to before that wasn't so good for you. And if you break and call yourself inviting them, they're not going to have a problem checking you and be like, no, didn't you say you was trying to lose some weight? What are you going there for? Those type of things. Because when people care about you, they hold you accountable. Okay? They don't care about you. They just sit back and enjoy the show. I think a lot of times we get that misconstrued as well. That's why I always say, take heed, not offense. You know? Especially when you know that the person who's telling you something has good intentions for you. So they're not going to just tell you something just for the hoot of it or to be funny, you know? But sometimes truth hits a little different for people, and it just is what it is. Okay? Oh, y'all were in here. My bad. Lord. Sorry. Hey, Lace. How are you? What if we have on roller skates and just roll on by? Hey, girl. I was going on a little tangent because I didn't see anybody in here. So I said, okay, everybody's doing their thing. That's a fact, because your peace is your business. Yes, it is. And you want to take care of that and handle that, because when people don't take care of their peace, then it becomes other people's business, because then you're not so peaceful. You're going around disturbing other people's pieces. And that's not cool. Yes, indeed, putting in that self work is a must. Yep, because faith without work is dead. Don't do the work, do your part. We'll be right at a dead end. You ain't gonna get nowheres. Hey, young Riaz, good afternoon. Cool beans. Hey, Becca, good afternoon. Nice seeing you. I hope you all are having a good day. And I hope you all were able to get something out of what I've been talking about, and it resonates. And each one teach one. Something you might want to talk, you can talk to or talk about with somebody in your life or your peoples. Be a decent conversation starter. Because we all cut from different cloths. Everybody has had different experiences. We're not a monolith. Everyone's different. We have all definitely had different life experiences. And I definitely don't subscribe to you being a product of your environment just off of where you were born, where you were raised up at, certain things you experience. Everything should be a learning curve, you know? And one of the things I've been working on is like I always say, like the show must go on. The world keeps spinning, so I try not to dwell in one spot as far as life experiences and everything. Talked about this with y'all before. So I reflect heavy, but I have been scaling back on the amount, hey, Cutting Edge, hey, Kiss My Cheeks, on the amount of reflecting that I do. Um, and then I have also been making it a point that when I do my reflecting, because I feel like that's very important to achieve clarity, um, that I don't, like I said, I don't dwell there with certain things, and I don't allow myself to become absorbed by certain things, certain emotions, feelings, whatever. You acknowledge them because they exist, and then you keep it pushing and do what you need to do. You know, I hope you all are having a great day. I really appreciate everyone that makes the time to come and check me out. I respect everybody's time. All of our time is valuable. Nobody's time is more important than yours, and vice versa. So, yeah, I don't subscribe to being a product of your environment. Not fully. Like I said, some things are good things, or a good thing, excuse me, some things not so much, you know? And I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with growing and evolving. And that doesn't mean that you forget where you come from or none of that mess that people like to say when they want to be on some crab in the barrel bull crap. No, there's nothing wrong with growing, you know? Especially if you did the work to where you're not where you were at before, where it may have made sense to have certain behaviors or act in certain ways. So you're doing good, young Riaz. That's what's up, you know? And what was that they called it? Hold on. Oh, I went to a whole separate one. Dag nabbit. I don't know where that went, but whatever. When we talked about how certain situations, it may have made sense to exhibit certain behaviors of being a part of your environment. But then when you try to bring those behaviors into other situations, it won't. And our job as grown adults is just trying to be the best us we can be. That's like the simplest way to put it, you know? It just, you don't have to dwell on, on certain things you experienced or went through or witnessed. You know, a lot of people are hard in that way because of certain situations, and they allow that to harden them. And you miss out on a lot of good opportunities and good people when you're that way. But I'm getting out of here. Like I said, I hope this resonated with you guys. You were able to get something out of it. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. You have a great weekend. Bye. Thank you.